Welcome to GripeCast with your host, Alex Hernandez. This show is dedicated to consumer technology news and pop culture. GripeCast is owned by Techaeris. Visit Techaeris.com for the latest tech reviews, news, entertainment, and pop culture. Now sit tight, the show's about to begin. All right, welcome to the least listened to podcast on the internet. This is GripeCast episode 25, Friday, August 9th. Yes, it has been a minute or two or a week since I've done a podcast. Been real busy, guys, doing catching up on reviews. I've said that time and again. I've got reviews I need to get done and I need to write, and so like a lot of my podcasting, a lot of my unboxings, a lot of my content on Techaeris.com is gotten pushed to the side so I can get reviews done. Just trying to get those out. I know we have IFA coming up, IFA coming up in Berlin. I will be attending that, so trying to get as much done as possible before that happens because it's a busy, busy time. But there's a lot going on, and man, my brain hurts with the level of activity in the world right now. It's just insane with the elections and with assassination attempts and all this other stuff that's happening alongside the tech stuff. It's silly. It's crazy. But I wanted to jump on this story. I didn't write about it because, like I said, I've scaled back my writing on Techaeris.com. I'm not doing as many news pieces, mostly because I want to concentrate on reviews. So a lot of my time is being spent on writing reviews and testing the product out more intensely than I have in the past. Because when you're writing news pieces, you get distracted and you don't have a lot of time to get to the reviews. So anyway, I'm jumping on this one because you guys, if you've been following the podcast since its inception, you know my feelings on Google and what they've done to independent websites like mine, and you know how I feel about the current situation with them. So I was talking with a friend of mine, and he said, "Hey, this sounds like this is a great subject for a GripeCast." And I said, "Yeah, it is. I haven't had time again to get on it. So today is the day, and I am going to talk a little bit about it. So I have an article pulled up here from The Verge, and we're just going to go through that as a reference point for this topic. That way, you know what is happening." If you're not familiar, Google had went through a antitrust suit, and they have officially been labeled a monopolist, which I've labeled them for quite a bit that way, and even more so at the beginning of this year when their monopoly affected my content and my website. So let's just jump into it. Let's jump into this article. It's from The Verge. Let's see. Headline is, "Now that Google is a monopolist, what's next? Reaching a decision on what to do about Google search could take a very long time." All right, so we're gonna read. I'm gonna read through here, and then I'm going to kind of comment and just give my thoughts on where I feel like I need to. It says a federal judge has ruled that Google has an illegal monopoly in the U.S. Quote, "The market reality is that Google is the only real choice," unquote, as the default search engine. Judge Amit Mehta, I think that's how you pronounce it, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it, said in his decision, and he determined it had gotten that way unfairly. It's a ruling that could portend big changes for the company, but we yet don't know how big, and we might not for years. So what the judge is saying, and I agree with that, it is the only real choice for a lot of users, and a lot of that has to do with the marketing that Google has done around their search engine, but also with with the data mining that they've been able to do with their search engine. They not only their search engine but also Google Docs, anything Google related, Android. They have been harvesting your data for many years, and my data too, and we've allowed that. We've given them free reign for free, quote, I'm doing air quotes here, for free products and services. And for, like, their Pixel phones aren't nearly as expensive as the iPhones or the Samsungs, but are slightly cheaper. Not they're competitive, but a lot of that has to do with the software. They regain a foothold on your data by giving you quote unquote, giving you these products and services. So that is how they've been able to become the only real choice, quote, the only real choice, as the judge says. And people say, well, you can't use DuckDuckGo, you can't use Start Page, or you can't, and I'll go over a few of these alternatives with you in a minute. But yes, the search engine alternatives that are out there currently they're not as good, and the reason they're not as good is because they don't have your data to parse and kind of go through to give you results that would fit you, and that's why Google search is as good as it gets. It's hard for me to say it's good, because it's not that it's good, it's just that it knows you, and so we need to understand that. We need to differentiate the difference between good and knowing someone well enough, so well that it gives you the results that you want. So, article goes on and says, Mehta declared on Monday that Google was liable for violating antitrust laws, vindicating the Department of Justice and a coalition of states that sued the tech giant in 2020. The next step, deciding on remedies for its illegal content, begins next month. Both parties must submit a proposed schedule for remedy proceedings by September 4th and then appear at a status conference on September 6th. All right, so this, like the author of this article says, this is going to take a long time, and that gives Google a lot of time to restructure themselves, restructure the way they operate. So I'm pretty pessimistic about this all. I've commented on X on several other big accounts. I'm like, what's the difference? What is this going to do? What is this going to accomplish? They're going to get fined, and they're going to go about their business, and they may even restructure, rethink the way they're doing the business. But they'll still operate the same way they always have. That is just my thought and what I think is going to happen. Maybe something big comes out of this. I don't know. I don't think that there'll be that big of a difference here. I think that Google will still be the big search engine. I think most people are going to most people this whole story is pretty much off people's radar. Google is a verb now, and that it's ingrained in people's heads. Unless you completely remove that whole marketing, that whole logo, everything, it's just going to continue on, in my opinion. This is just me talking. All right, the article goes on to say, Google and the plaintiffs will spar over how severe its penalty should be, presenting experts and written testimony before Mehta issues. I'm just going to refer to him as the judge, because I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that name right. Presenting experts and written testimony before the judge issues another opinion and order. The exact timeline is unclear, though William Kovacic, a former Federal Trade Commission chair and a professor at George Washington University, tells The Verge that he expects the judge to hold a roughly week-long hearing on remedies this year, and believes the overall process could stretch to the end of 2024. Whew. I think it's going to go longer than 2024. I almost guarantee it. I don't know if they have. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out here in this article, but I don't know if Google will be able to appeal or do anything like that. If there's a possibility for that, then this is going to get stretched out long, I think. Rebecca Hall Allensworth, an antitrust professor at Vanderbilt University Law School, expects a fight that could take up to a year. There we go. There's going to be gnashing of teeth over the remedy, and that is going to make it a long time, Allensworth said. I agree with that. I think it's going to be longer than a year before there's any sort of penalty or anything that's going to happen to Google. So we're still stuck with this for a while. There's a wide range of potential remedies. The most dramatic would be breaking up Google to reduce its hold on search and online advertising. But it's also perhaps the most unlikely, says Allensworth. So if you guys recall, Google has gone through several antitrust lawsuits, and not just here, here in the States, but many, many antitrust lawsuits in Europe, in the EU, and every time it's a fine and nothing happens. They go on as usual. That's why I just don't think anything's going to happen. But I think the closest that Google ever got to being penalized for anything was when the company decided to break Google off and create Alphabet. So if you're not familiar, Alphabet is the parent company of Google. So Google is a separate company from Alphabet. And so doing this was strategic to them it was strategic to them in making the company its own entity instead of putting it under another company. So they kind of protected themselves that way. And now I guess I'm not sure that's going to work, but we'll see what happens. Let's see here. Let's get back to this article. There's a wide range of potential remedies. The most dramatic, I don't think we would expect the remedy. A milder remedy, which Kovac finds most likely, is an injunction that directs Google to cease the conduct that the court found to be improper. But even that includes changes that could range from trivial to seismic. The judge could demand Google modify its multi-billion-dollar deals with companies like Apple and Mozilla, for instance, which cement its default search engine on products like the iPhone. And again, that is another reason why Google is big. The majority of people, I think the majority of my audience is very aware of different search engines and how to change the search engine on your browsers. But I think the majority of users in the world, in general users, have no clue on how to switch browsers, on how to switch search engines. And so what Google does is they make deals with Apple to be default search engine on Safari. And most iPhone users just use Safari. They rarely ever download anything else. And if they're not going to download Safari, if they're not going to use the Safari, they always download Chrome. So that's default on Google is default on Chrome. So that's how Google's able to be the largest search engine, is that they're making deals to keep themselves in front of you. They on your devices right here. If they put themselves on all the devices, the Apple and Samsung, that is the default Google. So everybody knows Google and everybody uses Google because it's not that they don't have a choice, but they're not told they have a choice. It's just default, and people will just go to default, and that's part of the reason why they're that big. And if the judge says we can no longer do that, that's huge. How Apple and Mozilla react to that, I don't know. And I gotta say, on a side note, I am a little bit surprised and a little disappointed with Mozilla because I use Firefox. That's the browser I use. And when I have a new machine that I'm testing, I always install Firefox on there, but they always have Google search as the default, and that's a little irritating. But I know how to change my search engine, so most people don't. All right, back to the article here. It says Allensworth notes another potential remedy would be requiring Google to share data or even some search algorithm information with other companies. Quote, I think that has that has the benefits of directly addressing some of the stuff that the judge is concerned about in his opinion. But Allensworth notes that, quote, courts don't like, for a variety of reasons, to force sharing between rivals. Okay, so that is a potential fix for the situation, which is requiring Google to share its algorithm and its the data that it uses to become successful. Everybody knows that Google's algorithm is pretty tightly locked down, and I don't know. I don't foresee that being an option for Google. Whatever remedies the court ends up requiring, Google might not make them for a long time. Google has already said it will appeal the ruling. There we go. What did I tell you? Appeal. We're going to appeal. They're going to appeal, and it won't be the first appeal. So this is going to take longer than a year, if it even gets to any sort of I don't know. I'm pessimistic, guys. I am really pessimistic on this. This is not. I see a lot of cheering on X and other social platforms. Hey, finally Google, we beat Google. They're a monopoly. They've been labeled a monopolist. But it's over the head of the general public. They have no clue what's happening. And I don't think that this is going to change anything. And they're going to appeal, and it's just going to revolve around in the courts. Okay, whatever remedies the court, back to the article, whatever remedies the court ends up requiring, Google might not make them for a long time. Google has already said it will appeal the ruling. Appellate courts typically evaluate the liability and remedy rulings in the same proceeding, but Google could appeal a loss there to the Supreme Court, and it could seek an injunction to avoid any changes until the case is settled. Apple got a year-long reprieve from modifying its App Store rule in antitrust battle with Epic, which Apple did lose, which maybe gives me a little hope, but this is Google we're talking about, whole nother level. Kovacic tells The Verge that we could see a Supreme Court decision by the end of 2026. So if it goes to the Supreme Court, we're waiting out another year and a half, 2 years. That's crazy. Other schedules are less optimistic. George Hay, a Cornell University law professor, gave the Associated Press a timeline of up to 5 years. Holy crap. See, that's more along the lines of my thinking. 5 years, if we see anything. And by that time, it's out of the public mind, right? And even, it's just gone. People aren't going to be paying attention to this. Okay, it says, if one of the higher courts rules in favor of Google, the final outcome could depend on how the next president's Justice Department responds. Microsoft, for instance, narrowly avoided being split up in the early 2000s. I do remember that. The incoming Bush administration settled its predecessor's case instead of pushing through an appeals court defeat. But in 2024, Republican nominee Donald Trump has a longtime grudge against Google and mused recently that it could be shut down, while VP and Democratic nominee Kamala Harris' antitrust record is relatively sparse, but non-existent. But the Biden administration, where she served, has taken an aggressive stance on tech monopolies. Either one could decide to see the case through. Whatever the outcome, this isn't the only antitrust case or even the only antitrust case against Google on the horizon. Major litigation is pending against Apple, Amazon, and Meta. Google itself will face other trials in September, this time over its ad tech, which is another big story that maybe I'll cover in the next episode of GripeCast. But yeah, that's it. Google is a monopoly, officially labeled a monopolist, and I knew that all along. I think we all knew that they're a monopoly. They are. I don't think anything's going to happen in the next year or two. I think there'll be appeals, and I think that they'll continue on doing as they do now, and I think that they'll figure out new ways during this time to get around these rulings, and I think they'll figure out new ways to generate their revenue the way they have. Look at what they're doing with search now. One of their ways is going to be using their AI and their AI snippets, which I've said time and again they've already stolen from me and other independent websites. They are stealing our content to feed their AI and give search results. So every time, you just think about it, every time you Google something, if you're looking for a review on something and you Google it and it gives you a little snippet at the top of AI result, and you don't click on any other link and you just read that and just continue on looking through Google and never go to another website, you are helping them to take from us. So my suggestion is quit using Google. I wrote an article sometime, and I'm going to bring that up real quick, some time ago with some suggestions of alternative search engines. Are they perfect? No, not everything is perfect. And you're not going to get the same sort of results that you do with Google, because Google, again, I've said it time and again, that they are they are able to provide you with the results that you like because they know you. So in my list here, we have 10 alternative search engines. I actually expanded it to 12, but there's options out there, guys. You have Bing. Now Bing, it's Microsoft, but it is an alternative. And I'm not saying, let me preface, before I go to the rest of this list, preface this with none of these, no one's looking out for your best interest, okay? If you think that you're going to the internet and you're going to use someone's service or product, that they're looking out for your best interest, then you're wrong. There are people that are doing things ethically, I think, or doing things and not being monopolistic idiots. But mostly, you can't really trust every major brand that's out there, right? I mean, it'd be nice to be able to throw your trust behind brands, but I guess I'm just pessimistic. I'm pessimistic, and I'm very suspicious. So that's just how I am. So here are some options for you. Bing is, it works fine. Yes, Microsoft is also in the business of collecting data, so that's going to be a problem. DuckDuckGo, DuckDuckGo is probably my most used search engine. Are they perfect? No, they're not perfect. Have they censored and have they done other things? Yes, they have. But right now, that's my best option for me. I don't use Google because I'm done with them. So I have to use something, and DuckDuckGo is my go-to right now. Acacia is another one. Brave, not the browser, but the search engine. They have a search engine. That one's okay. I probably use Brave occasionally. Swiss Cows is another one. Quant is another one. Mojeek, Start Page, Wolfram Alpha, Presearch. There's just all these different, and I'll link this in the show notes, this article, these different search engines that you could use. And yeah, I concede that they're not perfect and they don't always give you the information that you're looking for. But again, I submit to you that the reason Google can give you the information that you are looking for is because it knows you. It's taken your data and it knows you, and that's why the results are what you get. So yeah, that's it, guys. So what I want to transition over to what's happening with me and what's going on with what I'm doing. I am still writing. I'm mostly concentrating on my reviews, like I said, a lot of reviews, and trying to do more unboxings and trying to get these podcasts up, and just trying different things to get my brand out there. We no longer have, we are no longer favored. We were never favored, but Google obviously has cut us out of its search results in an immense and big way. So I have to find different ways to market my content. And so I'm looking at social media. I'm looking at other platforms. Rumble is one of the platforms that we're on. And what we're doing, what I just did actually yesterday, Rumble just came out with a subscription plan. So, and it's a way to support Rumble and a way to help them build the site. And so I'm on board with that because YouTube has been harsh on us as owned by Google. So we are on YouTube. I will continue to post to YouTube. I will continue to post to other platforms. I'm not going to cut everybody off, but we are concentrating on alternative media and alternative platforms. And if you're at all interested in checking Rumble out, please sign up for a Rumble account. You don't have to pay a fee. The subscription fee is only for those who want to pay. And I think about their subscription as a YouTube Premium, so you get no ads. But if you just sign up for an account, you can watch Rumble videos for free. There'll be ads there. But consider, please, signing up for Rumble and following us on Rumble, and also on X and Facebook and MeWe, Truth, Minds, Locals, even Threads and Instagram. We're there. We're everywhere. So, hey, guys, I'm going to wrap it up this week for this podcast. Thanks for listening so much. Thank you. Please, if you're not subscribed on Rumble or on YouTube, please subscribe. Please give me a like. Comment below. I wish I can get to everybody's comments. That's not possible for me. I'm a one-man band right now, and so please comment, but forgive me if I don't respond. Sometimes I do, sometimes I just don't have time. But the biggest thing for me is if you can share. Subscribing and sharing are the two big things right now. Getting this channel out, this podcast out, my website out to more eyes and more viewers is what my goal is. And with my the absence of Google search for us, it's now more imperative than ever for you guys to help me with sharing. Share the videos, share the articles, share everything that I do, and that is highly appreciated. So, hey guys, it is Friday. It is the weekend. Please enjoy your Friday. Be blessed. Take care of each other. Be kind. All these things, the things I normally say. And hopefully I'll be back next week with another podcast. I was originally trying to do 2 podcasts a week, but with all these reviews that I'm working on, I've cut back quite a bit for now. But at any rate, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following, sharing, liking, subscribing, doing all the things that help me. I appreciate your support 100% and very highly. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you on the other side.